Hello everybody, this is Ian again, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. So, I'm very happy to say that yesterday I received both the Moonbase and the Invasion, which nearly completes my Patrick Troughton collection. The only ones I still need are, I think, the Dominators and the War Games. And that's also discounting the missing episodes. But, anyway, so I watched both these episodes yesterday, basically as soon as they arrived, and I think I'll start, in this review, I will do the Invasion, which is story 46, and features the last appearance of the Cybermen in the until the Fourth Doctor, I think. I know the Third Doctor doesn't have it. I think it's the last one, last appearance of the Cybermen before the Fourth Doctor's run. And so basically the plot of this this story is that the Doctor arrives on Earth with Jamie and Zoe, and there's this electric company called, I think it's International Electromatics. Oh, and this will contain spoilers as usual. But there's something mysterious going on there. And it turns out the leader, Tobias Vaughn, is in league with the Cybermen, and he has this invasion planned, but the Doctor manages to avert it. It's an 8-part serial, which is the longest, I think it's the longest serial in Doctor Who history, except for, I think, the War Games and the Daleks' Master Plan. I think are the only two that are longer. I think there might be another 8-part story, but I don't know about it. But I don't think there are any 9s. Anyway, so start off. Since this was an 8-part serial, I expected it to be a bit cushioned and therefore be a little bit boring at times. But honestly, it was not boring at all. I thought I enjoyed every bit of it. It was well balanced between the action and the exposition. There wasn't so much action that it just kind of felt like one of those action movies where there's just so much action that the plot isn't developed at all. But there wasn't so much plot that there was no action. There was a lot of spy genre in here. They had the Doctor had to sneak into the International Electromatics a bunch of times and rescue people and escape. And this is, I know I said in the Ice Warriors that the Ice Warriors had beaten the Web of Fear as my favorite, and I can say with full certainty that this beats the Ice Warriors. It is an absolutely incredible episode. Not only is it it's one of my favorite, it's probably my favorite Cybermen story of all time that I've seen, but it's also just a very good story. Although there are 2 complaints that I have with it. One of them is a very small complaint. It has to do with, I think it's part 7. There's a lot of missiles. They shoot missiles at the Cybermen spaceships, and whenever they say prepare the missiles, they show the same clip of the missiles getting raised. I think it's 3 times, and that's a very minor thing, but it just kind of felt a bit repetitive because it was the exact same clips 3 times in a row. And the other complaint I have is that little sticker on the front. It's not a sticker, it's part of the DVD, but the animations were not very good. I mean, they're good. Like, I couldn't do it, and I don't know anybody that could do it, but compared to the Moonbase, The animations in the Moonbase were absolutely incredible. They had very minute detail. You could tell who everyone was, and it was very smooth and just very good animation. This one I thought was like, there are times it's a bit like stop animation where someone's leg would be one place, then it would be another, and it just looked kind of jerky at times, and you couldn't tell who everyone was because there wasn't that much detail on the characters. It's a bit like the faces of Lego Men, just kind of what's the word? Not average. Anyway, they just kind of had faces that were just kind of generic. Their faces were just kind of generic, and then they just had the hairstyles of the characters, which isn't that great a help sometimes. So anyway, I think an animation of the Moonbase, like an animation by the people who did the Moonbase, would have been much better, especially for such a good episode. It's a shame that of the 3 animations I've seen, the Moonbase, the Invasion, and the Ice Warriors, this is definitely the worst. But apart from that, the story in those missing parts were very good. I'm just considering that if we had the episodes 1 and 4, which are the missing ones, I think they would have been very good. And it was also it had a very good villain. I really enjoyed watching Mr. Vaughn, Tobias Vaughn. It was nice to see a actual smart ally of the Cybermen for once. Like, you know, generally you see the Cybermen, you see the guy with the Cybermen, like in the Tomb of the Cybermen. The dude's like, well, I'm going to get the Cybermen on my side, and then we're going to take over the universe, and then I'll just dispose of them when I am able to do that. And then they basically get annihilated by the Cybermen. It was very nice to see an enemy that was actually, like, not only did he, like, the Cybermen think they're in charge of him, but he's actually in charge of the Cybermen, but then the Cybermen are actually in control of him. It's kind of not kind of complicated, and he actually had a weapon that was efficient against the Cybermen. It's not like, as soon as he pokes his head up above that railing, I'm gonna shoot him in the face with a pistol or something like that. And then, you know, the dude shoots him in the face with a pistol, and nothing happens, and he gets killed. He actually had, like, he's clever. He knew what to do. He wasn't like the crazy, maniacal enemies, but he wasn't like the really pathetic enemy, like a really pathetic enemy. He's very ingenious. Like, you just kind of thought he was gonna pull a fast one on the Doctor. And there was a very clever. They're kind of trying to outsmart each other, the Doctor and Mr. Vaughn. And they had a lot of Cybermen. I've always liked episodes with a large number of enemies, like the Moonbase, and this one, and because especially back in the classic series, you tend not to see large masses of enemies because of the budget's a little bit lower, and there are no special effects like animations or anything. But yeah, this is also the foundation for UNIT, the return of Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, and the debut of Sergeant Benton, as well as others. And this is also a nice episode because it has strong female characters. And you know, it has Zoe and Isabel, I think was her name. It was and Jamie has like Mr. Vaughn gives him a radio, like a little mini radio, and it's just kind of funny because I don't know. This episode had lots of funny moments and also serious moments. I think this was either the first or second time that it was the Cybermen that they used the Cybermen design, which would be continued throughout the classic series. It was either this or the Wheel in Space, but yeah, I love this story. It was definitely worth it. It's a 4-hour story, but don't let that alarm you. It doesn't feel like 4 hours. I kind of wish it was longer. And it was also nice to see a Cyberman story that did not just feature the Cybermen as converting and upgrading every single character. Nice to see one that's not their goal. In this one, their goal is to annihilate the human race with a bomb. So it was nice to see. It's an original Cyberman story instead of just the typical cyber conversion. Will convert everyone in the area, in the world, every human, every living creature in the universe. It was it was different, and yes, I love this episode. It's my favorite Troughton story so far, and one of my favorite classic stories, and one of my favorite stories of all time. I would definitely recommend it to anyone, and I'm giving this story a 10 out of 10. That's right, a 10 out of 10. Haven't given one of those yet, but it deserves it. I love this episode.